What's up, everybody? Thank you for tuning in to Still Knick Fans once again. You're going to be witnessing something special today. We got our NBA Draft 2022 International Gems episode. That's right, the International Gems. This is not going to be one of those jam-packed with a bunch of names. We kind of made it concise. You know, you got 7 names that we're working with here. It's going to be some good info. And I think that, you know, for a lot of people who don't really follow the NCAA for so much, you know, we have informed you guys about that. And then when it comes to international prospects, sometimes it's even harder to find film or data on these people. So I think this is going to be pretty cool. You're going to like it. And so I think there's going to be 6 names that you should really look forward to. And I even threw my name in the ring with my own player that I like. Hey, listen, you know, I'm a homer. I got certain things I like about certain basketball players. So, you know, I'll throw him in last and hopefully you guys get to know him as well, because I think he could be an interesting player in the NBA. So I'm looking forward to it. And of course, once again, you know, I'm joined by, and this is brought to you by my man D Poetic, aka D is Ballin', aka with his new channel, D's Worldwide Hoops. And I also got my man Prophet from Feet Sports in the building. Let's get these guys up in here.
Yo.
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up? What's up?
What's up, fellas? We are back.
Doing good. Doing good. Ready to rock.
Just a slight correction, Ron. D's World of Hoops.
Damn it. I thought it was Wide World.
It was. I changed it.
Oh, you
the placebo effect.
Okay. I was tripping. I was like, you changed it. Okay,
yeah,
cool.
Yeah. But today I am going to be the international scout today.
The international scout today. Okay, cool.
I didn't change my name, but I'm international too.
All right, so guys, look out for that. D's World of Hoops. Okay, so that's pretty dope. Maybe when this video does premiere, maybe I'll put this in. I'll put the link to D's channel in the chat, so y'all can just click on it and check it out and subscribe.
Cool, thank you.
All right, fellas. So you know, first off, how you gentlemen doing? You doing okay?
Hanging in there. Good time. This is always fun. So you know, I'm excited to talk about some talent and share it with the people. So good stuff.
Yeah, man. All right, cool. And you know what? While I got both of you here, guys, thank you for tuning in. But I want to send a congratulations to my guys here. You know, Feats and the international scout. You know what? We did some really good work so far with our NBA draft series. And, you know, our Kai Soto, however you want to say it, it's got 33,000 views. So the people like it. So congrats, guys. Good work. Good work.
That's everybody. Hell yeah.
Yeah. So thank you to all the love and support. All right, so let's get it cracking, man. Let's get into this. And see where we're at. Boom. All right.
Very nice.
Yeah, there they go. The international gems, folks. Let me see if I can remember all of these names, guys. We're going to be talking about Mojave King, Tristan Vukcevic, Nikita Mikhailovskii.
Hey.
Huh? You know what I mean?
That sounded good.
Not too bad. Gabriele Procida, I think that's how you say it. Nikola Jovic and Ousmane Dieng.
Jiang.
Oh, Jiang. That's right. Because
Yep.
Thank you, sir. No problem. And then we'll also be talking about Hyunjung Lee. So definitely I'm excited for this, guys. And let's get it cracking, man.
Yeah.
Cool. Ready to go.
Who's first up? Oh, Mojave King. Feet.
All right. So first guy that I saw was Mojave King. Young guy, about 19 years old. Plays for Adelaide 36ers. So he's in the NBL, same league Josh Giddey was in. So you know he's playing against a certain significant level of talent there. Also played in the New Zealand First League. So there is where he got to feature, and you know, he averaged around 21 points per game. about 6 rebounds, 3 assists a game. So he has experience being a productive guy. He was one of the guys there, if not the guy there. So some of his strengths and weaknesses. If we took a look at him in detail, so right away, and you'll have an opportunity to look at some tape on him, you'll see tremendous slashing ability. So he has great size, 6'5", 194, and he can slash really well. He's also a really good shooter. So you're going to see excellent shooter mechanics from this player. So he's really a nice balance. So he's a guy that can grow into a starting caliber 2 guard. Also, because of that athleticism, you gotta dream on some of his defensive projection. So I think there's a lot to really like in the talent like this, really young, a development mindset. So I think it's going to be really, really exciting to watch him, and especially to see where he's drafted. Weaknesses right now, when you look at his game, you see a kid that. So the only thing I would say right now is he just needs more experience. I would have loved for him to see more minutes in the Australian League. Didn't see that as much, but the potential is all there. And that'll become evident again, like I said, when you see the video. That NBL is not a league to be taken lightly. A lot of physicality, a lot of former NBA players that are, doing their work, trying to make their way either back or trying to make sure they finish their careers or earn a high level income. So it's not a league where guys where winning is not important. It's a league where winning is everything. So from a developmental standpoint, Mojave, may have suffered a little bit in that regard. But the tools are what we look at when we're looking at the projectability of a guy that's 19. And when you look at his toolkit, it's full. He has the ability to operate in the catch and shoot as a shooter, ability to also shoot off the dribble. One thing I've noticed that I really liked about him was no matter what type of catch is made, he easily gets into his shooting mechanics. And I think that's a big thing to think about. When you're a young player and you're talking about shooting as an aspect, you have to be strong in all types of situations in terms of getting your shot off. And he excels in that. He has a great ability to replace. If there's a guy flying at him, one dribble replace, shoots the 3-ball really well. Shows a really strong basketball IQ in that regard. Also, one little weakness, again, that should be resolved by experience is that shot selection. He's not necessarily always stringent when it comes to shot selection. So that's going to be something that he needs to work on as well. So Mojave has a lot of potential. Really excited about this prospect. I think as you guys watch, let's say you go watch some video on him, you'll be intrigued tremendously about what he brings to the table. So that's one of my guys, Mojave. Really exciting young player. Parents both played, I think, D1 ball in the U.S. So he's somewhat of a transplant, from U.S. to Australia. Family was over there. I believe Dad played pro ball there, and they stayed. So I think he's also planning on playing for trying to play for that Australian national team. So,
okay,
cool.
All right, Mojave King. That's a name to look out for.
Yeah, very exciting player.
Let's see who else we got on our list.
Probably my favorite talent, Tristan Vukcevic. Really excited, Real Madrid. So he's playing in one of the best leagues, pro leagues. So 7 foot 230, and I'll say he's growing because 2 years ago he was 6'9". So he continues to move up. He's only 19, so this is something to keep in mind. A 19-year-old talent, and I think it's really important to think about what he could be. So when you think about a 7 foot 230 guy, traditionally we're thinking about an interior guy. This guy does both. All right, very comfortable shooting stroke. So you'll see consistently has a base that is in position, always ready for the catch and shoot. Great in the pick and pop. Moves extremely well on all 3 levels, especially from the 3-point line down to the rim. Nothing is choppy. Everything is fluid. He can catch the ball at 3-point line, one dribble, dunk. He has the complete package. So he's a really exciting player to think about. as you project. I've heard a lot about him potentially being late, maybe late first round earlier in the year. He may have drifted back some, but the great thing I like about a guy like this is that he's faced men. That's something to not be undervalued. And I really believe that he does have star potential because of the myriad of skills that he has and his size, his physicality. Again, played in that pro league, excellent fill for the big on both ends. So he's not just, a jump shooting perimeter big. He can take you on the block. He has all the moves you ask for a big on the block. So he's comfortable on the interior, but he'll extend you all the way out. And so he's a really exciting prospect. Again, I'm intrigued because as a 19-year-old with that type of bulk and size and playing against pros, the transition to the NBA is going to be a lot simpler for a guy like that. So he has the potential to contribute to his team immediately in some way, shape, or form. That's an exciting concept to think about. Again, I've already emphasized those strengths, size, shooting, mobility, the versatility. Again, a lot of these guys, it's going to come down to the experience element for a lot of them. Are they getting the reps? Are they able to play? Because, again, he ran into that issue as well with Real Madrid some, but then also played in the Adriatic League and was able to get more minutes and more showtime. So, and performed well against one of the players we'll be talking about, Nikola Jovic. So, again, this is a kid that when you see him, and again, you'll be able to look at video for him too, you'll see a guy that's very fluid. You'll see a guy that has great size. And you'll see a guy that, honestly, you can dream on. And I think when you're in that second round, particularly, and I see him maybe getting drafted in the late first round, but more likely in that second round, this is a guy you can dream on. And that's what you're looking for. You're looking for guys that you can project, maybe keep, maybe develop in the D League, in the G League, things like that. So I think he's a really interesting talent. And I want everyone to make sure that they're looking and keeping an eye on that type of guy. Cool.
All right. Who we got up next?
Next is one of my favorite players as well, Nikita Mikhailovskii. And he's played for Russia for Avtodor Saratov. 6'8", 190, 34-inch vert, 6'8" wingspan. The most appealing aspect of this young man is his passing ability. When I say he has tremendous vision, it is elite vision because he can pass people open, and he makes the pass 2 passes away while the defense is reacting in one way. So on the videotape, you'll see him make a pass to the corner in the wing, and you'll see the wing guy the guy who was guarding the wing guy drop to go and cover the slip to the rim. Well, he read, and that guy hadn't even replaced, but he knew that guy's initial reaction was going to be there. So he made the pass to the corner while that guy was at the same time going to cover the slip. So he passed that guy open. And so that's a real trait that you're looking for in your young talents, and it's very rare to find in a young talent. So that's something that really, really is exciting about him. He's also got excellent feel and IQ for nuances in the game. Some of the things you'll see him do, he will get into his hesitation and at the right time around a curl. So he does that twice in the video that you'll see. And one time he does it, does a between the legs pound, and he freezes and shoots a pull-up 3. Another time you'll see him turn the corner and do a step through and finish at the rim. Very, very advanced footwork, basketball IQ plays. So you're looking at the whole package when you're talking about Nikita Mikhailovskii. Now, you haven't heard a lot about him, and that's what I know for all of us on this panel, we found really intriguing once we watched the videotape on this guy. I know last year he actually, on some sites, he was actually being looked at. So this is a kid that clearly has shown he's a guy that has appeal. Biggest thing for me, he's not necessarily a pure athlete, but he's not a completely deficient athlete at all. So he's right there in the middle. And again, it's the experience. Again, being placed in those spots where he can be a guy. This past year, he was able to be a guy for Avtodor. And so, again, just garnering that experience. But he has a special ability to pass the ball and pass people open. And that is a tremendous asset in the NBA, especially when people looking to generate opportunities to get open threes. That will help his team to potentially improve their shooting percentage at the 3-point line. So very talented, very exciting young player for people to take a look at. Other than that, I mean, these are my guys. Like I said, I would also advise everyone, as we talk about guys to you, go take a look at some tape. It's a really, really powerful thing for you to also get to see these guys and get excited and maybe see your team make this selection. So he's a really talented player. All of these guys are really talented players. All the guys you're going to hear from all of us today are talented players. So make sure you're doing your own little scouting analysis as well. All right.
Cool. Sounds good, man. I mean, I couldn't have said it better. Thank you, Feats.
Yep.
We're about to get into another trio of guys. Let's hear it from my man, Mr. International Scout himself. Let's check this out.
Just for today. Okay. So, we talked about guys as in Dyson Daniels. We talked about Ishmael Kabagati. So there were some international players we did cover. Personally, I have those two on top of the pecking order as far as guys that come. But these were guys that I felt were next in that class of where those guys are and where they could be picked as well. So my first one's going to be Gabriele Procida. Gabriele Procida. And he played out in the Italian league out there in Bologna. As you see, his height is 6'8", 190, 35-inch vert at the combine. And he also has a 6'8" wingspan. Newborn puppy. Just turned 20 years old in June. So, he's a guy where I could see a lot of teams being intrigued by his youth, by his skill set that he's going to have available, which I'm going to get into. But before I do, at the combine, he had the 6'8" wingspan with the 8'10" standing reach. So that's pretty darn good for a guy that's 6'8". In the shuttle run, it was 3.14, which wasn't bad. At the three-quarter sprint, he was 3.07, which means that he was tied with Max Christie and Ryan Rollins for the fastest time during that drill. His max vert was at 35 inches, which is decent, and his vertical leap was 29.5, which is pretty darn good considering his height and his standing reach with his wingspan. I'm going to say it flat out right off the bat, probably the most athletic international prospect this year. The numbers will not wow you. He played limited minutes. He only played about 15 to 16 minutes. That seems to be a thing. That's a trend that goes on with international young players. They play a role in that team. I guess they have seniority type of things that go to their more experienced players, guys that have been in the system a long time, stuff like that. So don't get caught up in the numbers too much because it was done to a limited capacity. He shot 38% from three. He shot 48% for the field. Okay, 3 rebounds, a little bit under an assist, a little bit under a steal, and a little bit under 1 block. He averaged 17 points. He averaged 7 points a game in those 15 to 16 minutes. Pros, athleticism. Like I said, the most athletic, probably international prospect in this draft. Highlight film type of athleticism. Especially if you don't box him out on the weak side, he could fly in and he'll make a poster out of somebody. At his pros also, at that height, he's incredibly fast. Okay, his vert was pretty good. He has pop. He has explosion. He will be dynamite in transition. Okay, NBA-ready body. Okay, he's chiseled. I've seen all different types of numbers. I'm going to go towards a 195 just to keep it clear at his weight. He could space the floor. He's got a sweet stroke. Okay, he shot 38, 39% for 2 years. Okay, on 2.5 to 3 attempts, which isn't bad considering the minutes that he played. Also, keep in mind that he also has a mind state where he has a green light. And so he will take a lot of shots and stuff like that, which is nothing wrong like that. But maybe shot selection might come into play or something like that. So something to keep an eye out on. Great motor. Okay, this guy has great off-ball movement. Okay, he knows how to run the sets. He knows how to get guys into the screens in order to open them up when he does his curls or his dribble handoff options. But a great motor as far as player movement. He moves around very well. He's always active, very energetic. That also translates to his rebounding game as well. Good offensive rebounder, could be great, especially with his size and stature. Good rebounder, period. Things to watch for. He started throughout the years, and especially this year, started developing a competent pull-up shot, okay, off the dribble. And he showed flashes of being able to get to those spots as well. He shot 36% on pull-ups on 36 attempts. So that's not bad at all. He has a good first step. Like I said, he has explosion. He has pop. With a stronger, tighter ball handle, he could get to his spots a lot better. He could attack closeouts a lot better as well. Okay, so that's something to really look out for, and especially when you're coming to a prospect with that type of height, and you're probably going to play him at the 2, possibly 3. Okay, him being able to do those things with his shooting ability is a really big plus. So that's something I think scouts are really going to fall in love with him, or teams and organizations for that matter. Grab and go potential. Because of his rebounding ability, he's going to have the potential to grab the rebound and get going right off the fast break. He could put a lot of pressure on transition defense going downhill. And also, too, he showed an intriguing skill where, he's able to find guys running the floor well and stuff like that, which was, you don't see that from his assist numbers. But he did show flashes of that, and that's something I feel he could carry with him to the next level. His cons, he has to strengthen and tighten his ball handle. Has a high dribble. He dribbles really high. And he could be a little bit careless with the ball. Has to finish better at the rim. Has a tendency to get out of control. Has to work on his footwork and his body control when he's getting vertical. But as I said, he has a great upside. And I think he could get better at these deficiencies as well. And if I had to draw it down to a conclusion in one short sentence, I think he is an excellent international prospect in this draft.
All right. I mean, yeah, I like what I'm hearing. I look forward to seeing a little bit more of him.
Absolutely. Yeah. So
let's see who we got up next for you.
Okay. Let's go with you know what? You're right. Let's go with Nikola Jovic. Okay. Nikola Jovic is, let me get to him real quick here. What that sound? It sound like a submarine or something like that. Okay, Nikolai, as it says, is 6'11", 7 foot wingspan, 19 years old, puppy, newborn puppy. Keep that in mind. He averaged 12. He averaged 12 a game. He averaged 4.5 rebounds. He averaged 3.5 assists. He shot 43% for the field, 36% for the 3-point line. 2.7 turnovers, and I'll get into that in a bit. But I'll go over the pros first. He has great size and length with guard-like skills. So that automatically is going to catch people's eye and see, I think they'll dabble around and take swings on him because of the potentiality of him being so big with those guard-like skills at only being 19 years old. Great handle for his size. He could get to his spots as far as scoring opportunities and playmaking opportunities. And also he has some shot creation to him as well, as in the ISO and in the pick and roll as well. He could shoot off the dribble. He drained 41 threes in 25 games up there in Mega Mazar, whatever. Upside in being a consistent catch and shoot threat. I feel like that's something that could be an upgrade for him. It's something that could develop and grow at the next level. So, and especially with his height, and he's got a high release and stuff like that too. So I feel that's something that could be very beneficial. He moves well without the basketball. So he's not a guy that's just going to stand there. He understands how to run stance. He understands how to move off ball. I think that's a plus. He's a decent athlete. He's not explosive, right? Doesn't have that pop, doesn't have that first step, but he does have good strides. He has a good stride as he runs and stuff like that. I can see him covering his space pretty well. He reads the floor, but it's not elite. But he does read it, though. He does have secondary playmaker type of scream to him that I think, organizations that are going to take the swing will find very intriguing, especially in this type of NBA with so much space. Another thing too is that he has an intriguing mid-post game. He showed a way where he explored mismatches and stuff like that, put him into the mid-post and was able to rise over him. I see that as something him doing at the next level as well. Cons, didn't play D, okay? And that's a big issue. Okay, he's going to have to be able to be defensively competent and bring and upgrade and evolve into good defensive mechanics as he continues his pro career, and he will be here for quite a few years. Could see him having issues containing the basketball on the perimeter, especially on switches. I could see him also getting bullied in the paint as well early. I can see teams exploring that and try, hey, we're going to take advantage of Jović here and them getting away with it early. So it's interesting to see how he will adapt and grow with his toughness and translating into the NBA game. He lacks the first step. He lacks that explosion. He lacks that pop. Could have trouble getting into his spots in the half court early on in his first year, maybe in the second year as well. I could see that kind of, him adapted to that. And because I don't think he's going to be able to do what he did with Mozart in the first couple of years of the league. He's going to have to be able to attack the closeout and stuff like that. Him hitting his jump shot consistently would be very important as well. But, back to defense, he could be a potential liability on the perimeter and off ball as well. On off ball, he kind of fell asleep sometimes and stuff of that nature. That's something to really look out for. I can see teams attacking him in that way too. Shot selection is something of a concern. He kind of fell in love with that jumper a little bit sometimes, especially in ISO, and he would get a little happy ISO and kind of just settle, right? Into that fadeaway because he has the height and stuff like that. Like to see him be more on attack mode and stuff like that. But I think he's an NBA pro. I think he's definitely a first round look. And I think that, he'll translate pretty well in the NBA.
All right. Nikola Jovic. Nice. Let's see who else we got on the list.
Okay. Ousmane Dieng. Not Dieng. Dieng. The D is silent, sounds like a J. I guess it's some French stuff. Anyway, so he's also he's a lottery prospect, which is a little bit different from the other guys. I don't see Jovic lottery, but I do see him somewhere maybe in those late teens, early 20s. Could definitely see him there. Procida, I could definitely see a team taking a swing on him somewhere in the 20s. So, but Jiang has gotten the attention of organizations in the lottery, and it's mixed around. There's some that have him late lottery. There's some that have him, like around 7, 8, 9, stuff like that. So it's something intriguing to look for to see where he lands. 6'10", 7'1" wingspan, 215 pounds. He played with the New Zealand Breakers. He also played with another team earlier in the season. We'll get into that right now. But most importantly, I believe he's 19 years old. He is a newborn puppy. 18 or 19. He's a newborn puppy. Keep that in mind. First 11 games, he only averaged 4 points a game, 2 rebounds, 1 assist, 0 steals, 0 blocks, 25% for the field, 15% from 3, and only got to the line for 4 attempts. But last 11 games, he was averaging 14 a game, 4.5 rebounds, 1.5 assists, 1.2 steals, 0.4 blocks per game. Field goal percentage went sky high to 48.5%, and his three-point percentage also went sky high. He was shooting 36% as well, and he got to the line 23 times and shooting 16 out of 23. I'm going to lay it down right now. He is a project. That doesn't mean he's raw. It means it is going to take time with him. So if I'm a team that's looking to take him early like that, I will keep in mind there's 4 years to a rookie contract. I might have to wait 2 of them to really start seeing him really make an impact consistently with the minutes he will get. But I do feel he will get minutes, and I'll get into that in a second. I'll skip that. He's a good on-ball defender. I don't think he's great, but he's good, especially for that size and that wingspan. I feel that would definitely help him be able to covering space because he does lack foot speed and he does lack that lateral movement in order to defend like shiftier guards and stuff of that nature, right? So, but he's good. He's a good all-ball defender. He is capable of guarding some ones. He could definitely guard twos and threes as well. Has good defensive mechanics. I feel like as he get older and his footwork gets stronger and better, I think he will become a much better defender as time goes, and his switchability will be a lot more accessible as well. Showed glimpses of him being a potentially elite on off-ball help, right? And being able to help on defense. He was able to get to spots early, had very good defensive IQ with that. I see that with him, he's going to grow and build with that. And I feel those are the type of things that are going to get him minutes early. I think he's competent right now to land on an NBA team day one and be able to have minutes just being at a defensive scheme, and him knowing, with his switchability potential and him being able to help off the ball with his defensive IQ. I could see him getting minutes real early. Okay, I said that. Although he lacks the pop and explosion, right? For 6'10", 7'1", he has a really tight handle. Okay, and he has room to grow as well. He showed that he can read the game and make advanced reads at that. Wasn't always consistent, but he did show that he could do it. He will not be your lead ball handler. Not right away, at least. But he does have the potential to be a secondary playmaker, possibly later on this year. I mean, he does read the game that well, and I think it will translate to the next level. He's got all types. He throws hooks, passes. He'll show you some no looks. He's very good with his ball fake and manipulated the defenses to go there. He's very good at picking that apart with defenses. So that's something I think that will also translate as well. He has pick and roll upside as far as being able to run it. He has a little bit of a dribble package. I'll get to that in a little bit. But in the PR, he has upsides of him being a playmaker and also him being a scorer as well. He has a very intriguing floater, especially with that height and size. If he can get there real early, I can see that being impactful early. Improved his shooting and free throw frequency, as I said, in the second half of his road. And I think he does have the potential to be impactful. But just keep in mind with Ousmane that he is a project. It's something that's going to take a little bit of time, especially offensively. And, if he goes lottery, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
Okay. I mean, hey, man, listen, I think the data and the analysis, guys, has been top notch. It's been great. You guys have done a fantastic job of breaking down these players and giving fans like myself and everyone else a good idea of what to expect from these international players that may not get as much publicity or media coverage as some of the other players that you normally would find in the NCAA tournament and things of that nature. However, I think you're mentioning Ousmane Dieng. He is definitely I'm hearing his name getting mentioned a lot more. Absolutely. So it's good to hear about his skill set and what he can bring to the league. We'll see what happens. But I thank you guys for breaking those guys down. I have my own player, folks. Okay, right. Listen, this is more of an honorary mention. Okay, this is no slight to him, but I just feel like when you look at the big draft boards around the league and different sites and publications, he's not listed on many of the big draft boards. We're talking 1 to 50, or even in some cases 1 to 75, 1 to 100. But I think that is not because he is not good at a particular thing. It's because of his efficiency and his skill set with regards to multiple things, because that's how you evaluate a lot of these prospects. It's not just, what they can do well, but how much can they do? Because if you may not excel at any one thing, but if you can do a little bit of everything, teams can figure out a way to use you and figure out a way to put you in their mix. And when we get to this guy, it's just something about him. He's a feel-good story. I like him. And let's check him out. That's right. Hyunjung Lee, folks. This is my guy from the College of Davidson, 6'8", 210 pounds. We don't have his vertical jump because it wasn't evaluated. But his wingspan is 6'9". And if any of you have any idea about Davidson, you know that most recently a very now famous player went to Davidson. He was almost a New York Knick, but we missed out on him, and he wound up going to the Golden State Warriors. That's right. That's Mr. Steph Curry. And if you know about Steph Curry, you know he changed the way the NBA is played today. His style of basketball, along with what Golden State was running, along with Klay Thompson, that whole thing has revolutionized the game of basketball. It's now a perimeter-based game for the most part. There's a lot of three-point shooting on all teams. Even the bigs are now shooting threes, and that is based heavily on Steph Curry's influence. So I bring that up because Hyunjung Lee had a chance to go to different schools, but he was recruited by Davidson, and they were used to having a guy who could light it up from outside in Steph Curry. And let me tell you something, Hyunjung Lee can light it up from outside. This guy's shot is pure. The stroke is right. The one thing you can say about him is that he has a quick release. The catch and shoot portion of his game is, I think it's top notch. He has a pure shot off the dribble handoff. For now, I'm only saying this because I'm a Knicks fan, and if other fellow Knicks fans understand, we saw a lot of dribble handoff stuff between Julius Randle and Evan Fournier this year. It didn't always work the way we wanted it to work, but at some point throughout the season, it started to get good, and you started to see Fournier with the timing. So think of that with a young guy like Hyunjung Lee, and he's doing it very well. His shot is very pure. The other thing about him is that, he's an excellent shooter off screens. You just give this guy a little daylight, give him just a little bit. And, because he has a quick release and great shooting form, his shot is pure. And I think just for people, there may be somebody new watching and doesn't necessarily understand what the term pure means when you're talking about a jump shot. A pure jump shot, the form, everything looks beautiful. It's sweet. It's just the right positioning. And also, it's how it comes off the fingertips, the rotation on the ball, and how it hits the rim. Like if it just goes right in the middle, sweet, hit that net, it's not banging around everywhere. Those guys are special. There's not too many guys out there, especially in these days in the NBA. We used to see it a lot back in my day when I first started watching the NBA in the 90s and stuff. I'm old. Okay, but whatever. Anyway. The point is, you got to really see a good amount of that in his game. And if you look at his stats, he's a three-year player at Davidson, right? His first year, he averaged 8.4 points. He played 20 minutes. He shot 46% from the field. He shot 37% from the three-point line, and 85% from the free throw line, which is fairly good numbers for a player who can shoot pretty well. And then in his 2020-21 season, 2 years ago, he averaged 13.5 points on 29 minutes played, but he shot 50% from the field, 44% from three, and 90% from the free throw line. I mean, he was lights out. That was a remarkable performance for him. And that's what kind of started to get him on the radar of a lot of different, media avenues and stuff. There's some videos out there you'll see of him. He started to gain some traction and gain some interest. However, this previous year that just passed, the 2021-22 year, he scored more points. He averaged 15.8 points per game in 32 minutes. However, maybe because of more responsibilities, maybe, he was asked to do more tasks. Some of his shooting numbers dipped a little bit. From the field, he shot 47%. And from the three-point line, he shot 38%, which is still a very good number. And then he shot 77% from the free throw line. that's the number that is a little surprising because he's shown evidence of being such a good shooter. That it's surprising to see him take a drop from 90% to 77%. But, you know, like I said, he might have had other responsibilities and other things going on. So that could have affected his concentration and his shot at the free throw line. But he's shown great evidence of continuing to be a really good shooter. Now, how does that translate into the NBA? Well, if you go back into his strengths and weaknesses, you'll see that, you know, he does have good court vision. So that's a plus when it comes to being out there. He's not a total liability, but he is, to me, more of a one-dimensional player. His weaknesses are he lacks athleticism. He has bad positioning on defense, and because of that bad positioning, you know, he can get picked apart on screens. There's a lot of video evidence of them running, you know, the opposing team running screens on him, and guys are doing backdoor cuts. He's losing his man, and even if he's trying to go over the screen, his foot speed, he has slow foot speed, and that kind of hurts him. So he is a little bit of he's a lot of a liability. I'm not going to say that, you know, because as a Knicks fan, I've seen guys like Kemba Walker and Evan Fournier struggle on the defensive end, but they're still in the NBA. They've still, you know, those guys have carved themselves into the NBA for quite some time now. Now, with the Hyunjung Lee's skill set, he may struggle to really find the place in the NBA. I can see him being on the bench for a lot of different teams and getting spotty minutes. He's more like a Kyle Korver, maybe a JJ Redick type player. Although I would say JJ Redick was really good defensively and did some other things pretty well, which gave him a higher role. But you understand what I mean by those guys that are like catch and shoot guys. You know, they come in, hopefully they come off the bench, they can light it up. If you guys are struggling with, you know, with a lead or something, if the other team has got off to a big lead, they help get you back into the game, and then you bring the starters back in, and then you go from there. So I could definitely see him joining a team and being that type of guy. You know, a great fit for him would be the Golden State Warriors, but, you know, Golden State has a bunch of those guys already over there. And I did mention Klay Thompson, so I think Hyunjung Lee would love it if he went undrafted to the Golden State Warriors. That would be great. He get to play with Steph Curry from his alma mater, and he get to play with his idol, because Klay Thompson is who he modeled his game after. So I think he would be a very interesting person to be in the NBA, and I would look forward to seeing him. Like I said, he may go undrafted, but, you know, I think he deserves a shot to make an NBA team. Do you guys have anything that you'd like to add about Hyunjung Lee? I don't know how much you know about him, but is there anything you've seen that you liked?
Yeah, sure. You know, at the beginning of the season, he was projected to go in the second round, somewhere like around 40 or 50 or stuff like that on early mock drafts. But you know, I think his stock dropped a bit because it's just this lack, as you said it there, you hit it right on there. It's this lack of athleticism. It's this lack of foot speed. He is kind of like a one-trick pony where, I mean, he's lethal out there. I mean, you leave him open, it's done. And it's even intriguing. He even has good, and it's funny because he has slow foot speed, but he has good feet when he's getting around like pin downs and curls and stuff like that. And when he has to 1-2 into his jump shot, he does actually a very good, excuse me, he does a very good job of that. He actually has a very good feet with that. And so I personally don't see NBA him being drafted in this draft. I do see him playing in the G League, and I do see him filling in a role there and being on a squad that's going to need a guy to stretch the floor and stuff of that nature. And that's what he does very well. So, you know, I think maybe next year or something like that, you know, maybe he'll have a better chance of possibly getting on a team and cracking a rotation and stuff of that nature. But it may look a little short-sighted for him at the moment.
Gotcha.
I will say, after watching him on tape, he does seem to have some natural inclination and feel for sharing the ball, passing the ball a little bit. So there are some aspects of him that I see may be able to help his team just a tad You know, shooters normally, this type of shooter, this high level shooter normally is all he can do is shoot, but to help his team in moments where they may need that extra pass made to get a better shot. So I think that's something that while he does have, you know, a tremendous gift in the shooting, and he does have some deficiencies on the defensive side as well as you know, in terms of physicality and feet and stuff like that. He does seem to have a feel for making some basketball plays. It's not actually completely abnormal to him to try to do anything else but shoot. So I'll give him credit in that regard. And the hope is, you know, all players, as they get into the pros, whatever level they play at, they presumably are trending towards getting better. And so hopefully he's falling within that trajectory where he's getting a little bit better, getting more experience, find out what weaknesses he has and what he's going to work on to make sure he becomes the best player possible. But he does have elite potential as a shooter. He's excellent in terms of all different types of shot types. Those curls and pin down catches, those are huge. Those are huge in the league, and being able to shoot them moving, that's even more of an asset that he has. And so having that ability makes him somewhat, you know, special in that regard. I know when I was talking to Ron, he referenced him having, you know, JJ Redick like movement, you know, and Korver. So being able to catch, shoot, and move and drift and make the shot with some level of consistency all at the same time. And that's a trait that's valued in the league. So just something to keep in mind. So, but I think there's an opportunity. Definitely don't believe he'll be drafted, but definitely think he could be a guy that can work his way into the league as an undrafted, you know, asset, and then be given an opportunity like the international scout said in the G League. So
yeah, I think I agree with both you guys. Thank you for your take and thoughts on Hyunjung Lee. Yeah, I think it you know, his shooting might be able to get him into the league if he continues to work at it and shows how much of a valued asset he is. Mm-hmm. But his defense is what's going to keep him in the league if he does get the opportunity. So, because even with the catch and shoot guys that I mentioned with Redick and Korver, those guys were good at help defense and doing certain things to you know, affect you know, the opposite team. And so you can't be out there just, you know, not being able to shoot, because then you turn into you know, what was his name? I'm trying to think of the guy who used to play. I think he led the nation in scoring. Was it JJ? Not JJ Redick, but it's
Jimmer Fredette.
Jimmer Fredette. Thank you.
Yeah,
Gosh. Jimmer Fredette had those problems on the defensive end, and because of that, I mean, the guy could light it up. We saw it multiple times. Then he went into the G League and he lit that up. So then guys are like, oh, we got to bring him back into the NBA. Came back into the NBA, couldn't really get it going. Got exposed on defense. Yep. And so for those guys, it's very tough. And so I'm hoping that if he gets a shot, he'll make the best of it. You know, I know he's got a lot of people, you know, rooting for him. He's got, you know, he's from Korea. So I think if he made the NBA, he might be the second Korean born athlete to make the NBA, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong, you guys can let me know. But I think that that's the case. So it would be definitely a high achievement, and I'm rooting for him. Yeah. So that's Hyunjung Lee, guys.
One more thing about Hyunjung is that also two players like him that were projected and they fall out. Summer league is very important for guys like that to possibly maybe be able to crack like a preseason roster and maybe get some experience there and kind of learn the NBA life and stuff like that. So, you know, he's got some time and stuff like that to see what, I mean, he's had some time, I mean, to really develop some of his flaws and stuff like that. And let's see if he's one of those guys that, you know, he has a really good summer league and stuff like that, and maybe he could crack a preseason roster or something.
Yeah, that would be pretty dope. But good point. The summer league is there for another reason, man. It definitely, you know, there's going to be, I mean, there's no NBA basketball at that time, so everybody's eyes. It's one thing to be in the G League while the NBA is going on. So, you know, people are focused on one thing and, you know, the monitoring the G League. But when the summer league is happening, all eyes are on it. So that is a good opportunity for people to get noticed and to really stake a claim that you should have a spot or a chance on an NBA team. Good point.
I also want to say one more. As you go through this period of time, getting ready for the draft and hoping for your teams, projectability is a big thing that teams look into. So in that later draft and from an international standpoint, they like prospects that may not have the minute allocation just now, but if they were given that opportunity, they could be. So that's the mentality that a lot of teams have. So just keep that in mind as you guys think about these prospects, as you think about prospects that you're looking at that may stand out to you. It's how could that guy fit and what could that guy's peak be? That's really what teams are kind of focusing in on. And the acquisition, the opportunity to acquire a player at a certain spot that has that type of potential, all of those components go into the selection process. So it's really important for you to kind of keep that in mind. Watch some video of these guys because I think we put together a pretty good bunch of guys for people to pay attention to. And you might dream on some of them. I know I have. So I started dreaming on some of them, and these guys know which ones. Just wanted to let people know that and start to think about it because we're getting down to crunch time when it comes to the draft. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, no, it's before you know it, it's here, man. Time is flying. So thank you guys for watching our international gyms episode and continue to rock with us. We still have our third and final installment in our NBA draft series coming up on June 21st. That's a Tuesday. So definitely stay tuned to that. The NBA draft is 2 days after that, the 23rd. So we're getting you right before the draft, 2 days before. You can't ask for anything more, man. That's like right up to the day. Come on, people. So
right around the corner, too.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
You'll know about the player that your team drafts because we gave you all the information. So you can't say you didn't know.
And that's why I appreciate this series that we put together so much because we didn't just give you a one hit a quitter, tell you about these guys and move on. We have led you guys up to the draft. We're giving you information, and then maybe even going over guys again and giving you some different information. So you're getting real good stuff about these guys. So hopefully you guys are well educated about the draft, the players that your team, if it's not just the Knicks, that your team is interested in. I know for Knicks fans, should I say, we definitely have a good idea about all the types of players that might be there for us. It's just a matter of who will actually draft. Yeah. But we'll see, man. It should be pretty fun. I want to thank once again to my guy Prophet from Feet Sports for being here. Always a pleasure chopping it up with you, buddy. I also want to thank the international scout here. That's right. For always doing his thing and coming through with great data. Once again, tune in to his channel. It's D's World of Sports.
World of Hoops.
Damn it. One day I'm going to get this, guys.
You almost got it.
Rock with me. And actually, you know what? You should tune in more to see how many times I mess it up. Yeah.
Hopefully not that many more times.
No, hopefully not. D's World of Hoops. So definitely check that out. Like I said, this video will premiere. I don't know exactly what time yet, but I'll put it out there and you guys will get to know it. And then I'll most likely put D's channel in the chat so you guys can click on it.
I'll give you my my Instagram because I do a lot of my communication through Instagram.
Thank you.
So feel free at Feet Sports, FEATS PORTS. You got questions, you need answers, I got you. So
thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, this has been another great show. As always, I'm going to say thank you for tuning in. Thank you for rocking with us. I'm excited for the NBA draft. I can't wait. And I'm definitely excited for our next installment of the draft series. So stay tuned, guys. Have a great rest of your day. Okay. Take it easy.
Thank you, man. You too.
We out of here.
Thanks for everything. Take care.
All right.